welcome. Let's get started having a look at logging into TinkerCAD to create our 3D designs that we will hopefully we'll prototype, we'll workshop, we'll get people to give us feedback on those, and eventually use the 3D printers to print off our designs. So if you haven't already, we're going to be using TinkerCAD. So if you haven't already logged in, I want you to just do a quick search for that, and I'll show you the logging in process for that. It's a bit specific. So from the home screen, just sign in. Okay, now it's already coming up with my email because I've logged in before. If it's the first time you're logging in, you're going to use sign in using social providers. So that's your Google account, your school Google account. So I'm going to click on that. You'll have the red button with Google on it. You can click on that. And I'm going to select my school Gmail account, which is cg.catholic. Yours will be cgstudents.catholic. And it's as simple as that as far as logging in is concerned. So you can see I've got a few designs already. If it's the first time you're logging in, the only thing that you'll see on this kind of launchpad area is the create new design. So I'm going to go into that and just show you a few of the basic features of TinkerCAD, how to create some 3D objects and move things around. Click on create new design. Okay. So you've all, most of you be using the touchpads on your Chromebooks. If you're using a mouse, it's very similar. We can use the cube over here in the top left-hand corner to change our orientation. So I'm spinning around. I can look underneath, direct bird's eye view above, to the left, to the right, flat plane, whatever. So that's your tool for moving around the canvas, so to speak. As you zoom in, zoom out. And over here, let's have a look at some of the basic shapes that we can drag onto our design area. So I'm going to put a bit of a box over there. And you can adjust some aspects of it here. The length, making a cuboid, width, height. This not so much. Probably won't be doing too much of that. But you also take note of the measurements down here on the side, so you can actually edit them directly. 60. It won't actually let me go to 20, so that's all right. Let's try it on here. Let's try 80. There we go. We can quickly modify. We'll get into what those measurements actually represent soon. All right, so we've got a little shape on there. Let's have a look at get rid of that. So now if we spin the box around, you can see you get these different perspectives, which is if you're going to print something, you really need to have this capability, because even though it's technically not in real life three-dimensional whatever, you need to be experiencing the construction of this as real as possible. So you can spin around, look at it, zoom in at some of the finer points, okay, and then zoom out there. So we can modify the whatever the object is, we can modify it with some of those little markers that are coming up. If I select the object, let me just scroll down here, there we go. Alright, so let's have a look. If I click on this little arrow here and pull it up, it will actually lift it off the building palette. Now that might be useful if you're going to, let's say, get this back up here. Let's just say you're going to print it with a cylinder underneath it, and you wanted to connect them to make some type of T-shaped structure. I can look around here. I can already see that it's not quite lined up. It would print slightly in this area here, slightly over, so I could move this if I want. And then if I needed to drag it down, drop that there now, you can see that it's actually connected now. So if I was to print that object, it would print as one object. If I was to send it like this to the 3D printer, it most certainly wouldn't work. You can't actually print things in mid-air, unfortunately. So that kind of modification is really important to the designs that you have, because you can start with these basic shapes and you can really alter them to your needs. So we can click on the vertices here, and we can drag out simply, and you can go all around actually, push it back and forth. Okay, to create all types of 3D objects. Got this black line here, go forward, backward. Now this is an interesting one. We can change the angle. Let's keep dragging that down a bit, on which the shape is. So it gives you an indication there if I select it, where it originally was. So looking at the difference between if it was laying flat at 180 degrees and on that angle, then you might want to tip it down. Join that shape in there. You can see how you can build something like a ramp. Okay, so the ability of this program is it's actually quite amazing, in my opinion, what you can do with the shapes and the objects in this environment. That really is all you need to do right now. I'd certainly encourage you to play around with some of the different types of shapes down here. We've got text, which is something that might be useful to you here. You've got your basic shapes, text and numbers, so your specific letters, characters, chicken foot, shades, connectors. The connectors are really important, more when you get into very technical things, but at this point, they're kind of good as examples. I think when you design things, you might look at this as an example, but my experience is you cannot modify these. Yeah, scaling locked. So it kind of is as they are, that's how they come. Okay, so those pieces are kind of locked, I guess. So good for perhaps some inspiration. There's a couple of other little things up here I'd like you to have a play with, but again, we're going to focus on this type of design. You can do blocks, which is really similar to a Minecraft environment. So you can see it's converted what we've done. And this, I mean, really for your age, I don't think it's super technical, but this is fun to have a little bit of play with. But I certainly won't be allowing people to print off 3D objects constructed in this environment. The bricks is probably a step up from that Minecraft environment. It's very, very Lego-istic, which is totally fine. It's fun, good to get a bit of a handle. It's a little bit more, how do you say, detailed, I guess. And this certainly could be cool if you were looking at printing custom Lego pieces, actually. So there could be a lot of value in using this. But this is where we have the most control in this design area. So have a play around, get in there, log in, start thinking about what it is you're going to design as far as looking at housing, spaces, what works, what doesn't work, what types of features you think would be useful in a modern house where space is extremely limited and we don't want any dead spaces, so to speak. This will be an ongoing project. It will take you an incredibly long time to really get what you want. So please don't give up. Work hard at it. If you need any help, post some questions in the Google Classroom so other people can answer as well as me. But I'm more than happy to give you guys feedback before I see you next and in between STEM class times.